everyone. It's a beautiful night out. And it's a beautiful night to do some storytelling and listen to some music and just have a great time. My name is Denise Santi-Estevan. I'm the curator of the Ideas, Tours, and Storytelling programs. So I'm here to bring you a mix of storytelling with a lot of different genres. I personally am a storyteller. I started several years ago, and I'm always intrigued by how it moves and motivates people. But what I'm really liking is when it's all different kinds of storytelling. So I just want to say that I'm so glad you're here. I'm going to say a little bit of the nice stuff that we'd like to thank the hundreds of individuals just like you whose support is foundational to what we do. You do it by attending events, buying tickets, and we're also very happy to acknowledge our marquee sponsors, Yale University, Community Foundation for the Greater New Haven, Connecticut Public National Endowment for the Arts, and Connecticut Office of the Arts and the City of New Haven. I want to give a big thank you out to Cita Park. Have any of you been here before? So this is your first time being here. Okay, and this is the first time we're here. This is brand new, and this is all made possible through the big Change in the Air, which is a great foundation that promotes BIPOC brewers. So please find out more. Go buy some beer. They also have 4 draft house cocktails that you can explore, and there's some really killer empanadas over there. So go check it all out. Our artists today, in the order of presentation, because I know you don't want me to keep coming up here. I'm too boring. We're going to start with our musician, who's Rick Reyes. He's a troubadour, a songwriter, a producer, and a storytelling performer in music. So I hope you really enjoy him. He taught himself to play, and he says he began his lifelong journey as a songwriter when he set his poetry to music. So I hope you very much enjoy him. Next up will be Becca Wright with her story, Cocktail Shakers on Route 66, about a road trip during COVID. She's a journalist, a film and TV writer, and virtual reality, and most recently a storyteller. I think you're going to really enjoy her. After that, we have Doreen Casket, who is going to do pilgrim hats and paperless headdresses. She's going to bring us stories of Native America. She's here in Connecticut, so she can tell you some traditional stories. Then Rick's going to entertain us again. And then we have Versatile Poetique, who is poet, educator, host. And she's going to be bringing to you Versatile the Style. I'm going to take this out because I feel like I'm trying to shout upwards, and I can't do that. After Versatile, we have Amy Myers. Meep. Oh, yeah, Amy Myers. She's fantastic. With meep, meep. See ya, suckers. Amy is a native New Havener. She is very, very grateful to her father for telling her stories, spoken and written when she was a girl, and very inspirational by that. And then we'll have another song from Rick. So I really hope you enjoy your evening here with us. I hope you've found a new space to go. And after the storytelling is over, this space will stay open, and you're welcome to stick around and enjoy it. So thank you.
Check, check. What an attentive audience here today on a Thursday. All right. So I like New Haven very much. I lived in New Haven for about 2 years. And I guess it's the Worcester Square area. A street called St. John Street. It's a cool street. So I'm going to sing some songs there in Spanish. Hopefully the emotion behind the songs will translate behind the words that you potentially don't understand. But it goes like this.
Me levanto y no puedo conocer por qué pasó. En un mundo traicionero, yo no sé la solución. Y me dices que me vas a hacer marionetas hechas de papel. Es que aquí en día no se ve sabiduría, solamente hipocresía. Y me dices hoy por qué no puede ser o como ayer. Es que aquí en día no se ve sabiduría, que solamente hipocresía. Mira el lleno de celo, no tiene nada que celar. Inseguro y con miedo, le echa culpa a los demás. Y me dices que me vas a hacer marionetas hechas de papel. Es que aquí en día no se ve sabiduría, es solamente hipocresía. Y me dices hoy por qué no puede ser o como ayer. Es que aquí en día no se ve sabiduría, es solamente hipocresía. Como tiemblas de ignorancia, no la puedes comprender. Y aquí en la distancia no te puedo conocer.
All right. It's the first song for you, a song called Marionetas de Papel. It translates to paper puppets or marionettes made out of paper. So with that, we have the first storyteller. All right.
Hey, everybody. I feel like I always go first, so I feel like I'm the warm-up act. So, okay. So, it's the summer of 2021. It's in the thick of the quarantine, Southern California. And my boyfriend Bob and I both get phone calls on the same day. He's been at his job for 26 years, and because of COVID, his job is being cut. I've been at my job for a year, better, and it's being cut as well. We don't get bummed out about this. We see this as an opportunity. We can go anywhere. We can live anywhere. The world is our oyster. So we decide we're going to throw our nets wide and see where we end up. But in the back of our heads, we have Connecticut in mind. Bob has some family in Connecticut, including his mother, who has some memory issues. So we're like, if that happened, that would be great. And as luck would have it, he got a job in Connecticut. So we have 30 days to find a place to live, pack up, and get there. Moving during COVID was an adventure because everybody had the same idea we did. When we called the movers, they said there's a 22-month wait. Yeah, and it was upwards of 20 grand to move cross country. Luckily, I had a hookup with my cousin who knew a guy named Elvis who could bring us across the country. So we're like, we're in, Elvis, we're in. The second issue was finding a place to live. And that should have been the first issue, but, you know, things are as they are. Looking everywhere, there were so many people competing for rentals. And they'd be snapped up like this, and you'd have to pay these exorbitant fees just to apply. And one day I say, hey, Bob, do you know anything about Chester? And he goes, you found a rental in Chester? And I'm like, yeah, on Facebook. And he said, Chester's great. We applied in the first 24 hours when they shut off because they had 70 people apply in that first 24 hours. We were chosen. So happy. And I sent a note to my new landlord and I said, I have been dreaming of a place that's in the woods where we could walk into town, a little village, very Hallmark. And she said, it's exactly like that. So I was very excited. Third obstacle we had was I was having my knee replaced. So I couldn't fly. We had to rent a motorized RV and drive cross country. And we thought this would be fun. Bob is like, let's do Route 66. He's a musician. And I'm like, it's going to be hot as hell. But okay, we're going to do Route 66. We get this tiny little RV, pack our 3 cats in. They immediately hide. We start off, I can't sit up front with him because of the knee. It's the console and my knee don't jibe. And as I'm sitting at the kitchen table of this RV, I notice we have some extra perks I didn't know about, which were an infestation of roaches. Yeah. Now, normally our cats would be the perfect assassins, but one of them is in a cabinet at the roof, one of them is a cabinet on the floor, and the other one's in the litter box in the shower stall. None of them will leave those spots for the next 9 days. As we go down Route 66, there's this crosswind, and Bob's trying to steer, and he's like, won't steer straight. Whether that's the RV itself or the crosswinds, I don't know. But I can tell you from where I was sitting, it was like being in a cocktail shaker, shaking like crazy. It was PTSD inducing. But after 9 days, we finally got to Chester, and the first thing we did was drive through the little village. And it was September, but there was snow covering the ground and the rooftops. We're like, what's going on? They were filming a Hallmark movie. And it's like, it is a Hallmark town. So as I got past all those obstacles, the main obstacle, which I didn't mention to you, was I'd been kind of questioning, who am I going to be in Connecticut? I knew who I was in Los Angeles. I was a journalist. I had a strong group of supportive colleagues. We go to a lot of the same events. And it's like, I know it's not going to be the same in Connecticut. I know there will be other journalists and writers, but it's just not the same. I just know. Plus, COVID had kind of kicked that in the ass anyway. So I put an ad in a local neighborhood platform saying, hey, writers, anybody interested in joining a writing group? And I got 40 responses, all from my little area where I live. And they came and we connected and we bonded, and it was great. And then we were invited to read some of our stories for the town. And I thought I should probably learn something about storytelling. And I was referred to the Institute Library just down the street here to a workshop where they had storytelling once a month. I didn't know what to expect. I already knew I was at a disadvantage because I call this town New Haven. And Bob says, it's not New Haven, it's New Haven. I'm like, oh, God. So I go up this tall stretch of stairs, and I come in, and this whole world opens up for me of storytelling. A whole new community of people, a whole new way of expressing myself. I was hooked.
It was an amazing difference in my life. This past September, my uncle, who had pancreatic cancer, decided to make his last trip to New England from Virginia. His first stop was to see me in Chester, he said. As we took him to our favorite places, we got to Stonington Point, and we stopped, and he kind of pulled me aside, and he said, "You sent me all these pictures in your texts, and you told me so much about it. I had to see it. But what I knew was you'd found your place." And I thought about it, and I was like, he's right. I found my place, I found my people, and I found my purpose. Thank you, Connecticut.
Hello, everyone. Let me adjust this a little bit. Can you hear me well? Okay. Otherwise, I could be loud if I need to be. Welcome. My name is Darlene Kassak, and I am many things. I am a member of the Schaghticoke Tribal Nation. That is one of 5 tribes that exist here in Connecticut. I am also a traditional Native American storyteller. Traditional storytellers are chosen by the Native community based on certain aspects they see in you, the way you can connect with a child, how you can whip out just the right story with just the right bad behavior for a child to learn from. And it has been a wonderful, magnificent journey. I am so many things, so it's hard to squish it all into one thing. What I like to do is educate people about my culture and about my people, because there's so many misconceptions out there. I asked somebody if they can give me a hand. Anybody want to guess how long Native American people have been here on this land that we call Connecticut? Anybody want to guess? 10,000, that's close. Okay. So this is a little visual that I use. You might want to get on that side. Okay. So we know Native American people are here today because I'm standing before you. As you look at this beaded chain, each one represents 20 years, each bead. Each color change represents 100 years. Okay? So we're here today. We have been here all of this time. We were here 500 years ago when the first explorers came. And they started to write about the people that they saw. And what they wrote ended up being what you learned in school, right? And it was written from one point of view. So we're here 500 years ago. Now, something happened 500 years ago. It was called the Great Time of Dying. When Europeans came here, they came here and exchanged things with Native people. Some of them were good. Cloth, for example, scissors and knives. So in some ways it improved their lives. But they also exchanged diseases that never existed here before because of a different way of interacting with the land and all the beings that live upon it. So before the time of the Great Dying, we were here for 1,000 years. We were here for 2,000 years. We were here for 3,000 years. We were here for 4,000 years. We were here for 5,000 years. We were here for 6,000 years, 7,000 years, 8,000 years, 9,000 years, don't fall off, 10,000 years, 11,000 years, 12,000 years. Now, our people tell stories. Thank you very much. Our people tell stories. We could just drop it. About a time when our people walked amongst the ice and they were hunting animals that we don't know today. They were hunting beavers that were the size of bears. They explained hunting this huge animal. It was big. It was hairy. It had a flat back, a long nose, and horns coming out of its face. They're talking about the mastodon. Now, archaeologists, anthropologists, and such laughed at our stories. Oh, those silly native people and their fairy tales about monsters. Until, lo and behold, giant beaver remains were discovered in Pennsylvania. And then here in Connecticut, in Farmington, mastodon bones were uncovered. And there was evidence that people were harvesting the meat off of those bones. Well, all of a sudden, archaeologists, anthropologists want to know more of our stories because there's some truth to that. So imagine those stories traveling that entire length of time right up to today. So I'm talking today about my personal experiences. I don't have that much time, so I really can't go into 10,000 years of history with y'all. But I could explain to you what it was like for me as a child growing up indigenous and looking the way that I do. My story starts in kindergarten. It was Thanksgiving time, and the teacher put down these papers and had us make a craft. Of course, that craft was pilgrim hats and paper headdresses. So I was given pilgrim. And I'm like, excuse me, I'm an Indian. And my teacher said, you don't look Indian to me. Make your bonnet. And that really upset me. So that following weekend, we went to visit my great-grandmother on the reservation, and I shared that story with her. And she said, Darlene, do you know who you are? I said, yeah, I'm Darlene. She said, no, you are Scattercoat, and you come from a long line of strong, resilient women. Don't you ever let someone take that away from you again. And those words have stuck with me. So the Native experience, when you look like me, can be confusing. Often, I'll tell people I'm Native American, and they, give me this look, like I'm not wearing turquoise. Well, excuse me, but the natives in this area didn't have turquoise. You're not wearing deerskin. I'm sorry, but it's 80 degrees out. I am not going to dress in deerskin for you. I'm not wearing my regalia that I wear to ceremonies, just like you wouldn't come here in a wedding dress. It's not appropriate. That clothing is for ceremonies, certain occasions. It's not for me to parade around trying to prove that I'm a native. So these experiences what shaped me. And these are the experiences that led me to become a museum educator at the Institute for American Indian Studies, because I wanted to make sure that children that were coming to our facility to learn about Native American people were learning the right story. One of my experiences was a weekend tour. It was Columbus Day, and a gentleman walked in with his 2 adult children, and he said, I want to see what all this is about. I'm Italian. He was definitely proud that he was Italian and letting me know it. So I introduced myself. I told him I was Scattercoat, that I was a Native American. He looked at me and he said, well, you don't look native to me. So these are the things that I've always had to struggle with growing up. What am I supposed to look like? Pocahontas? She's a cartoon character. That whole story is made up, right? So it's important that we talk about what Native people look like. We come from many different colors. When someone says you don't look Native to me, I feel like saying to them, you have to come meet my family. My family is brown, black, white. There isn't one way that we look, because our people aren't like that. If you came into our community and you were helping our community survive, you were part of the tribe, right? And people fall in love and mingle and mix and such. And this is happening early on, right? Now, the government, the Bureau of Indian Affairs, makes us prove that we're Native American people. So I wish I had like a tattoo of my tribal ID number on my head so I can go like this. Well, let me get back to the tour. So I'm giving this guy the tour, and I'm explaining to him about the indigenous and Afro-American experience. I'm explaining to him about the connections with the Dutch and the French, and he's not buying any of it. And I'm showing him artifacts and proof, that these Native American people are here. We get all the way through with the tour, and he still has this chip on his shoulder. So I turn around, and I look at his 2 kids. Mind you, one of the children had bright red hair and freckles all over his face. And the other one had blue hair spiked with all kinds of gauges and piercings. So I turned around, I looked at his children, and I said, "They don't look Italian to me." And I walked away. And it took him a minute, but he says, "You got me. You got me. Thank you."
All right. So this next song is a song called La Cadena that translates to the chain. And I think it was inspired by the reality of what trauma is in people's lives, or this or what it may be a generational curse. You know what a generational curse is. So trauma is something that transcends color, really, and transcends culture in a way. This one thing that you can find in many places. So the song is called La Cadena. It's called The Chain. It's about breaking the chain. How do you go about that? If not, you're gonna pass that stuff on. So I'll do my best. It's a very intricate song, but at the end of the day, it's a very simple song to play. It's 2 chords, you'll see.
¿Qué va a caer? No va a caer nada. ¿Quién va a pagar por el peaje? El mismo mapa, la misma ruta. No hay respuestas, solo preguntas. La cadena que nunca se rompe. Una buena siembra no se puede matar. Y el tiempo pasa y te deja esperando por abrir puertas que se olvidan cerrar. A paso, creo armonía, buscas verdad, compras mentira. Esa es la plaga de la semilla. No es callejón, es avenida. La cadena que nunca se rompe. Una buena siembra no se puede matar. Y el tiempo pasa y te deja esperando por abrir puertas que se olvidan cerrar. ¿Cómo vas a encontrar las razones porque sin huellas que te muestren el camino? ¿Y cómo vas a borrar los errores de ayer? rompe la cadena, rompe la condena, rompe el eslabón que no te deja seguir, el eslabón que te hace sufrir, rómpetela y bendito, y la maldad que te rodea, rómpela, 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 libérate de un futuro, libérate de un ayer, libérate de ese pasado que te tiene agobiado, rompe la cadena, rompe la condena, rómpela, rómpela. La cadena que nunca se rompe, una buena siembra no se puede matar. Y el tiempo pasa y te deja esperando por abrir puertas que se olvidan cerrar, por abrir puertas que se olvidan cerrar, por abrir puertas que se olvidan cerrar.
Thank you so much. La Cadena. All right. This next song is a song called Todos los Días. And it's a song that translates, that means every day. And I think at the time I was trying to write a children's song, because if the kids like the song, it's a good song. Have you ever noticed how every kid likes a Beatles song? I mean, if the kid likes the song, it's a good song. So I also was inspired by the fact that every day is a brand new opportunity to make it a good day. So, and there's a sing-along part in this song that usually maybe you can sing along with me if you like. You know, we'll put your Spanish class test today. Okay? Can you say todos? Wow. Los días. Okay. Can you hear the guitar well over there? Can you hear it?
Busco paciencia pero no la encuentro, creo en la esperanza pero nunca viene, dicen que el plan ya está hecho. Yo tenía un sueño, pero se me olvidó. Tenía hambre, pero ya se fue. Tenía fe en lo que me enseñaron, pero aprendí que era todo una mentira. Todos los días me vuelvo un loco. Todos los días me pierdo por ahí. Todos los días me vuelvo un loco. Todos los días. Dicen que el miedo se convierte en realidad y que se encuentra detrás de una cortina, que no fueron los frenos, pero falta de energía. Aunque pierdas años, ganas sabiduría. Todos los días me vuelvo un loco. Todos los días me pierdo por ahí. Todos los días me vuelvo un loco. Todos los días.
All right.
Todos los días.
There you go. That's big. Woo! All right, I got one more round. I'm gonna sing. All right.
Me caigo y me levanto y curo las heridas y busco la paciencia, que es la ciencia de la vida. Trato de ser un buen humano y no me olvido de mis hermanos. Tú gracias a la vida por el amor que ella cultiva
All right, look at that. Little interaction. Todos los días. Every day is a brand new day. Forget what happened yesterday. Start all over again. Thank you. All right. By the way, if you're on Instagram, I'm under the Rick Reyes. TheRickReyes. The Rick Reyes. The joke is that it's a very common name. There's many Rick Reyeses out there, but I'm the Rick Reyes. So you can find me on Instagram. Thank you.
Hello. Oh, okay, here we are. Hello, everybody. Welcome to my show. When I say versatile, you say poetic. Versatile. 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 Hello, beautiful people. My name is Versatile Poetic. I am honored to be here. I am a spoken word artist, okay? But I will tell you my story of my parents and how they came to Connecticut. I'm a Yankee. I grew up in Simsbury and Avon, Connecticut. I grew up with white folks in the suburbs. My mom is from Yamasee, South Carolina. Her father was a sharecropper. My mother picked cotton. My mom also was a state and federal whistleblower. She passed away in 2021, colon cancer. And if anyone has lost their mom, I send my love to you, okay? Because I don't know how you're still living, because I'm trying to still figure it out, okay? My dad, he is from Stewart, Virginia, and he migrated to Connecticut in 65, and he wanted to go live with his cousins, and he worked at a gun company. And then he went to Honeywell Computer School and worked for Cigna for over 35 years. Then they met in 1980 at the OTB, which is the off-track betting. And then in 1986, they had me. My mom was 39 when she had me, but she had other children from her previous marriage. So I was also born an aunt. One of those, you know. And I always tell people, I've been saying this a lot lately, not to be vulgar, you are here because somebody had sex. That's it. That's why you're here, okay? Whether it's planned or not planned, but it's a blessing that you are here, right? Regardless. So enjoy the fact that you are here. I also want to make note of growing up in the suburbs. It was great because of my education, right? But it wasn't so great because I lacked diversity, right? And I was called an Oreo. I talked white and I act white. I don't know how you act a color. We need to get out of that, okay? Also, we are in times of healing. Right now is a big year. Just stop hurting and killing people, please. That's it. Everybody can coexist. Just stop the hurting, stop the killing. It can be okay, all right? With that said, is it okay to end with a poem? With you beautiful people. Also, I want to add, it wasn't easy to, I'm black, I'm a lesbian, and I'm a woman. And another thing, women, I don't understand why all the women are out in the streets fighting. Why aren't we making the same amount of money as men? Why are men making more money than us? Can we figure it out, woman? Just saying, okay? It's a little not fair to me, little equality. Also, I am a snapper because I am a poet. I am not a clapper. And I like to also ask people, does anyone know the history of snapping? 1950s, the Beatniks, New York City. They held poetry readings in the basement of an apartment complex. And they would snap because clapping was too loud and they didn't want to disturb their neighbors. And when you snap, you also can hold your water in the other hand. So, if you can't snap, it's okay. You could just rub your fingers together like this. I've been performing poetry for 15 years, and I've been teaching poetry for 12 years, okay? Also, I have to plug myself in. Come see me at the Harriet Beecher Stowe Center in Hartford, Connecticut. I am a tour guide there for the past year. And in case those of you who do not know who Harriet Beecher Stowe was, she's famous for writing Uncle Tom's Cabin, an anti-slavery novel, okay? And she was neighbors with Mark Twain. So please come check me out. I'm there Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. All right, with that said, this poem is called Triple Bypass. It's like a rap poem, okay, with the delivery. And I'm talking about being black, being a woman, and being a lesbian, okay? Voice check, 1, 2, 3. 3 for 10 for the greenness tree. 1 times 3, triple bypass surgery. New lives cry in the nursery. False testimony tests the perjury. Confessions are confessed as far as you can see. Society clogs the artery. And as you can see, this is a part of me. 3 women live just to be. First came her named sexuality. Church scorned her reality. Girls held morals and a morality. Faith tested her mental vitality. She would smile at me. Rosa sat down for me. Second woman nicknamed Black. They say she didn't know how to act. Dirt colored skin tested the fact. Pause, rewind to bring it back. Dirt colored skin tested the fact. Put 3 minutes back on the track. She was raped of her innocence because she was black. Truth sitting on the rack. Hit with the hardest sack. Pimp juice for the Mac. Book, new technology, take a deeper look. If you face what I face, you'd be shook like bodies rotting in the brook. You see, the third woman timed how long it took. Just for living, she was a crook. She lived in the house of the Lord. Psalm 23 in the book. Hell hungry to cook. Devil hanging from the hook. A myth. I know what you did last summer. Suicide scene in the Hummer. Hate in line with the number. Woman known in the world, I'm a member. Remind to remember. New beginning, painful ending in September. Jack-o'-lanterns are lit in October. Leaves change color for a soldier. Thank you, smile in November. Sagittarius birthed me the 4th of December. Heart attacks make the body timber. Little tree in the boots carry the limber. Flow with a sensible combo. Rambo ammo couldn't hinder. Verbal bender for the fender. Professional lyrical lender. Psychopathic mental stimulator. Living my now, dying later. Afterlife rating at the top of the escalator. Sins riding down the elevator. Sex cells pumping the ejaculator. The words annihilate, call me the annihilator. Mortal Kombat blow with a Tekken KO. You better add the chips to the cookie dough, cause the spit shining on the floor. You see, women run the world, but you call her a whore. Her money isn't equal to man. She gave birth to man, but man controls the land. Her essence shines more than a dub on wheels burning rubber. Envy bounces green like flubber. Orientation labels the lover. Spalding bounces like Tigger. Willie Lynch pulled the trigger. Shotguns make the holes bigger. MC light as a rock. Rappers, they run by the cock. You think you're tough because you carry a Glock. While I see the bloodstains on your sock. The real make the people flock. Haters hate on the block. Buster Bunny from Arthur. I'll flip it farther. I breathe for peace. Call me a martyr. My lyrics are ice cold like a glass of water. Who is she? I'm my mother's daughter. In this verse I just slaughtered. The rhyme has just been altered. Creativity mocked it. I know a legendary organist. I'm a flow assist. It's motific. I just Johann Sebastian Bach'd it. A disc couldn't even chop it. Say hello to my mind. I can't even top it. Grandma's belt welts can't stop it. If you're a dreamer, then cop it. Put your fresh Nikes on and just do it. Blood, sweat, and tears filled with fluid. Gay pouring from whispers, they think I'm stupid. I'm black, strong, and ruthless. You cannot refute this. They attack me with a triple bias, judging me as I is. Cutting deep like a triple bypass surgery. Well, I'll bypass with my clergy. Forever stand up with me. I'm striving for all I can be. And for the rest of them, you better believe I hold the key. I'm a gay black woman that's free. Thank you for allowing me to versatile your style and versatile your poetic. Peace and love, everybody.
Is it good? Okay. My friend Ray is driving and I am just gawking out the window. We are in New Haven. There's a lot of red lights to stop at, and so I have plenty of time to stare. And there's a lot to stare at because there's like actually people outside walking on sidewalks. This is so different from where Ray and I live, where we grew up in New Milford. Like this one time at New Milford High School, a bunch of cows wandered over onto the school grounds, and they had to cancel outdoor gym that day. I was not sad about that. And the farmers had to come over and shoo all the cows back to the farm next to the high school. Driving around in New Haven, I don't think there's any cows around here. And Ray is taking me to New Haven tonight. We are going to a gay bar, and I have my fake ID and everything. Ray is somebody that I've known since I was a little kid. We are two Black kids growing up in a really white town in Connecticut. And our families belong to the Black Families Association, which was started by the Black families in our town. And basically, it's an association of families who just get together and do things. And so basically, every Black kid in my town who's about my age, I know them. And Ray is one of them. So when we were little, Ray and I were two chubby kids who would chase each other around the church basement after the annual Martin Luther King Day celebration, eating cookies and drinking Kool-Aid. And then as we got a little bit older, we were the adolescents that would get dropped off at a roller skating rink in the nearby city so the teens could all go roller skating together. And Ray was so good on his skates, and I was like the only Black kid who could not roller skate. And then as we got to be a little bit older teens, somehow I lost touch with Ray and we didn't see each other very much until the day I bumped into him in the office of our high school. I walk into the office and there's Ray, pursed lips, all dressed in black, goth outfit. It is 1987. His hair is short on the sides and wavy on top, and he's wearing black pants, a black t-shirt, and a black trench coat. If there had been a Black kid in my favorite movie in high school, The Breakfast Club, it would have been Ray. And so there's Ray sassing the secretary. He pulls a crumpled piece of paper out of his pocket and slides it across the counter and says, "Yes, that is my mother's signature," to the secretary. And the secretary looks at it. She reads it. She looks at Ray and says, "So, your mother said that it was okay for you to go to this fashion show in New York City last Friday instead of coming to school?" "Yes, she most certainly did. My mother takes my interests very seriously." "Okay, Mr. Smith, but does your mother know that you've already missed 5 days of school and it's only the end of October?" Ray snatches the note from the secretary and says, "My mother's very busy. She's a nurse, you know." "Well, Mr. Smith," the secretary says, "please let your mother know that you really shouldn't miss any more school days this marking period." And Ray says, "Okay, I'll do that." And he looks at me, winks, and walks out of the office. And instead of turning left to go into the main corridor of the school, Ray turns right and right outside the front door of the school, leaving a whisper of Obsession by Calvin Klein trailing behind him. And that was the day that Ray and I became reacquainted. Since the day that Ray and I saw each other in the office that day, he started picking me up for school on the days that he actually goes to school, because he used to drive right by my school bus stop on his way to school. And the first time he stopped to pick me up, I could feel the burning eyes of jealousy of all the other kids at my bus stop as they saw me, Amy, the band nerd, get into the cutest and the coolest car any of us had ever seen, Ray's bright orange vintage Volkswagen Beetle. We get into the car, and as I settle into my seat, Ray honks the horn, meep, meep, sticks his hand out the window and waves to the kids at my bus stop and says, "See ya, suckers." And I shrink in the passenger side. I can't believe he just said that. I look behind them to see what they're thinking about us. Ray is driving and he looks at me and says, "Who cares what they think?" I care. I always care what kids at school think. I always have, and maybe I care too much, but I am not cool. There's a few black boys in my grade, but I'm the only black girl. And so I am always worried about what the kids at school think of me. I'm always trying to fit in. And no matter what I do, it seems like I just can't fit in and that I always stand out in ways that I don't want to. But I look at Ray, bopping his head to the music on his tape deck, driving his orange Beetle down the street. He doesn't seem to care. One Friday morning on the way to school, Ray says to me, "What are you doing tonight?" And it doesn't take me long to tell him nothing. And he says, "I'll pick you up at 8:30. Be ready. Tell your parents that you're going to be home late and wear black." So at 8:30 sharp, there's the orange Beetle in front of my house, meep, meep, honking the horn. Now, Ray might know my family, but obviously he doesn't know the family rules. We're the only black family in the neighborhood. We're the only black family for miles. And so my dad has some rules that we just know about. They're not written down or anything. But you don't hang out on the front porch, only on the back deck. You don't listen to really loud music outside, especially no rap. You don't leave the house wearing wrinkled or ripped clothing, even though everybody in my school is wearing ripped jeans. And if someone is coming to pick up me or one of my older siblings to go out, you don't pull up in front of the house and honk the horn. You park the car in the driveway, you get out and knock on the door. Because to do anything else, according to my dad, would be uncouth, whatever that means. And as a black girl, I guess I'm always supposed to be couth, I guess. And so I run out to the door to Ray's car, and not only has he honked the horn, but he's blasting music in front of our house. And it's Grace Jones, of all things, singing, "Pull up to my bumper, baby, in your long black limousine." I don't think my dad's going to like that. Grace Jones is this really tall, really dark-skinned black woman who dresses like a man, and I think she's Ray's idol. But I can't get mad at Ray when I see him. He is wearing the most fabulous outfit he's made of second-hand thrift store items. He has on a men's suit jacket. He's cut the sleeves off. Oversized men's pants cinched at the top with a belt. And a pair of old men's Oxfords that he's painted black. And so I just get in the car and we're off. Ray drives me through Connecticut, just over the state line, into New York State. And we arrive at this over 16 and under 21 club called Images. And I can hear the music before I even get out of the car. It's 80s British punk rock, and it's new wave music, and I love it. We go in, we pay our $2 to get in, and all the kids start rushing up to Ray to say hello, and I can hear him yelling my name over the music to introduce me to his friends. I look around and I see that the ceiling and the walls and the floor are all painted the same grungy, nasty, matte black. I love it. There's splatters of Dayglow paint everywhere that look electrified under the black light. I look around and I see girls with hairy armpits and girls with hairy legs and bright pink spiked hair. I see boys wearing kilts and combat boots and safety pins in their ears for earrings. And I think, these are my people. This is my tribe. Soon enough, Ray goes out onto the dance floor. I've never seen anyone dance like him. He doesn't dance just with his feet or just with his legs. He dances with his whole body. He's got his hips and his arms in it and his neck and his head. And he closes his eyes and he's one with the music. I've never seen anyone do that. And so I go out onto the dance floor and I try my best, but I'm still kind of new at this and I have to keep my eyes open. Ray has Grace Jones to look up to, and I have Ray.
Soon enough, someone flicks on the overhead fluorescent lights, and it's time for all of us teenagers to get out of there. And on the way home, I am so exhilarated with the memories of the night. I've never had so much fun in my life. I have all of these thoughts swirling through my head, and I don't even know how to ask Ray these questions, like, how did you find this place? How did you even know it was here? Who are all those kids in there? They don't go to our school. I've never seen them before. How did you meet them? And I think about the little chubby kid that Ray used to be, and I wonder, when did Ray get to be so different? When did he develop this style, and how did he know that it was okay to be so different? Who told him that? I don't ask Ray any of these questions, but I do tell him when we get home, don't drop me off in front of my house. Turn the music down and drop me off a few doors down. I've never gotten home this late before. And even if he does turn the music down, I don't think you can silence the engine of a 67 Volkswagen Beetle, even if you try. So he drops me off, and then that becomes our every Friday night ritual. He picks me up, we go to Images, and we dance. Except this Friday night is different. Tonight, Ray is driving me into New Haven, and we're going to a gay bar. I have my fake ID and everything. And there's Ray driving his car, wearing an outfit that only Ray could wear, playing something crazy on the tape deck that we're both enjoying. And here's me in the passenger seat, looking at Ray and seeing him be his wonderful, weird, authentic self, and trying my best to do the same. Thanks.
All right. Hey, folks. How lucky are we to be here today? This next song, we're going to end with this song because I think it's a proper song to end with. It's called Yo Soy del Mundo. That means I'm of the world. And it was written a long time ago from the perspective of when an immigrant comes to this country, or to any country, I've learned because I've spoken to a few, you leave behind what you know, and you're in this new place, and you never feel quite like you're from this place, and you spend your life, and you spend years here, and then one day you say, let me go back home, and then you go back home, quote unquote home, but you realize you've been away for a long time, so you don't really feel like you're from there either. And then, okay, so I'm not from there anymore. I'm not from here. I guess I'm from the world, right? So that's what the song is about. No soy de aquí. I'm not from here. No soy de allá. I'm not from there. Yo soy del mundo. I'm from the world, right? So you can sing if you want to sing. You can clap. Only in beat.
Después de estar corriendo sin saber dónde llegaré, me he dado cuenta que pasó el tiempo y que ya llegué. Y nadie sabe la angustia de tus penas, nadie sabe cuánto tú pagas por tu condena. No soy de aquí, no soy de allá, yo soy del mundo. No soy de aquí, no soy de allá, yo soy del mundo. No soy de aquí, no soy de allá, yo soy del mundo. No soy de aquí, no soy de allá, yo soy del mundo. Después de estar corriendo sin saber dónde llegaré, me he dado cuenta que pasó el tiempo y que ya llegué. Y los amigos que serán tus enemigos y la propaganda que te dicta tu destino. No soy de aquí, no soy de allá, yo soy del mundo. No soy de aquí, no soy de allá, yo soy del mundo. No soy de aquí, no soy de allá, yo soy del mundo. No soy de aquí, no soy de allá, yo soy del mundo. Después de estar corriendo sin saber dónde llegaré, me he dado cuenta que pasó el tiempo y que ya llegué. Y no me olvido de lo que yo quería. El amor, esperanza, comida todos los días. No soy de aquí, no soy de allá, yo soy del mundo. No soy de aquí, no soy de allá, yo soy del mundo. No soy de aquí, no soy de allá, yo soy del mundo. No soy de aquí, yo no soy de allá, yo soy del mundo. Y me dijeron que tenía que olvidarme de las cosas que estaban sucediendo en el mundo y que no podía involucrarme a lo que a mí nunca me afecta. Filosofía de la mala semilla que crece, que pertenece a esa gente que se lo merece. Con el puñal en la mano para la brutalidad contra tu hermano. Yo tengo sangre negra, sangre taína, sangre europea. Yo tengo lágrimas que han corrido la tierra entera. Por eso digo, no soy de aquí, no soy de allá, yo soy del mundo. No soy de aquí, no soy de allá, yo soy del mundo. No soy de aquí, no soy de allá, yo soy del mundo. No soy de aquí, no soy de allá, yo soy del mundo.
Thank you so much, everybody. Have a lovely, lovely evening. My name is Rick Reyes, and thank you, New Haven. Follow me on Instagram. Thank you.
Thank you all so much for being here. Please give another round of applause for our artists. And we still have a couple more days left of the festival, so check everything out. Check out Cedar Park. Go grab a beer, talk to the tellers, talk to the musician. Thank you once again for coming.